Hello chess lovers, Suren here, and in this video I would like to share with you a very beautiful game played by Indian chess grandmaster Parimarjan Negi. For those who do not know, Negi achieved the grandmaster title at the age of 13 years, 4 months and 20 days, which makes him the 4th youngest grandmaster in history, behind Sergei Karyakin, Pragdananta, Ramesh Babu and Nodirbek Abdusattorov. In this game, Negi's opponent was Austrian chess grandmaster Markus Reger, and this game was played in 2014 in Graz, which is a city in Austria. But before starting our game, as usual, here is a puzzle for you. As many of you were criticizing me for publishing puzzles where the only winning moves were queen sacrifices, that's why here is a position where we are in the end game, there are no queens, and try to find a winning line for black. I will wait for your answer in the comment section. Back to our main board, and now let's see what happened in our game. Negi opened up with e4 and Reger responded with Caro-Kann defense c6, d4, d5, knight d2, d takes e4, knight takes e4, bishop f5. Black goes for the classical variation with knight g3, bishop g6, h4, h6, knight f3, knight f6. Of course, all this is a standard theory seen thousands of times. Bishop d3. Usually in here black is capturing on d3. This is the main move, but in our game we have knight bd7. By the way, in this position never capture on d2 because white has a powerful move. Can you find a winning move for white? Ready? Actually, in here, knight takes f7 can be very unpleasant for black. If king takes f7, then bishop g6 check is coming and black will lose his queen. Let's go back in our game after bishop d3 with knight d7 and bishop takes h7. Knight takes e5, d takes e5, queen a5 check, king f1. White is not covering his king in order not to allow queen takes e5 check. Knight takes h7 was played and e6. With this pawn sacrifice, white is damaging black's pawn structure on the king's side, and this e6 move is actually demoralizing black's position. This position was also seen earlier, for example, in games of Peter Leko and Michael Adams. In here, black was usually responding with knight f6, but in our game with queen d5, black is not accepting the pawn sacrifice and is offering an exchange of queens, and we have it, queen takes d5, c takes d5, knight e2, white wants to bring his knight on f4, g6 was played. Well, if f takes e6, then knight f4 is coming, and if e5, then knight g6. And then knight takes e5. In our game, that's why we have g6 and knight f4, d4, bishop d2, bishop g7, and we have rook h3. White is switching into the attack his rook from the third rank, knight f8. A very passive and dubious move. Instead of playing knight f8, it was better to play rook c8. And if rook c1, then simply knight f6. But in our game, we have knight f8, and now gradually we will see that black will start facing problems. Here comes e takes f7 check, king takes f7, and rook f3, bishop f6. Black is covering his king, not allowing any possible unpleasant checks, and we have rook e1, knight d7, knight d5. Already the threat is rook takes e7, that's why we have rook e8. Now comes c3, king g7, and c takes d4. In return, we have bishop takes h4 and bishop c3. If we have a look at the position, white pieces are very active, and on the other hand, finding a good continuation for black is extremely difficult. Bishop f6 was played. This time we have knight c7, rook c8, and a powerful move by Negi d5. Look at this, guys. With this move, white is opening up the dark squared bishop's diagonal, and now if rook takes c7, then rook takes e7 check is coming, and then rook takes f6. This is a total destruction. If knight takes f6, then rook takes c7, and if rook h7, then d6, and black is losing. If knight d7, then white rook can start munching black pawns. In our game after d5 we have king g8 and simply bishop takes f6, e takes f6 and d6, and suddenly this passed pawn on d6 is becoming a huge problem. Rook d8, rook e3, knight e5 and f4. Yes, white wants to keep the e file open in order to penetrate black's camp. Knight c6 and rook e8 check, king f7, and now you can pause the video and try to find Negi's next move. Ready? In here, Parimarjan Negi played rook e7 check. Look at this beautiful exchange sacrifice. Knight takes e7 was played with rook takes e7 check, king g8, and after knight e6 black resigned. Yes, with this move white created both a mating threat and also attacked black rook. If rook h7, then knight takes d8 is coming and it's over. That's why after knight e6 we have a resignation. A very beautiful and instructive game by Indian chess grandmaster, the way he managed to realize his advantage in the endgame and then went for these beautiful tactical shots in the end of the game were simply astounding. Thanks for watching. If you liked this game, give the thumbs up. For more games, consider subscribing to my channel. Also, press the bell button to get notified about new uploads. I will see you in my next video. Take care.